Have you ever looked around and wondered why the world seems led by those who leave you questioning? How did they get there? From the fall of mighty empires to the chaos of modern politics, history whispers a troubling truth. Leadership often falls into the hands of the loud, the charming, the self-assured, while the quiet, the wise, and the humble remain unseen.
It's a paradox as old as time, yet it stings anew with each headline, each election, each boardroom shuffle. Why does this keep happening? Why do the wrong people so often rise to the top? Carl Jung, the great explorer of the human psyche, offers us a lens to understand this enigma. His insights reveal that leadership is not merely a matter of competence or vision. It's a dance of unconscious forces, archetypes that shape our behaviors, and societal dynamics that elevate certain personalities over others. As Jung wisely noted, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. In the realm of leadership, this truth rings loud. The hidden drives of both leaders and followers shape the course of history, often in ways we fail to recognize until it's too late. This is not just a story of power, it's a mirror to our souls. It's a call to unravel why the wrong people so often rise, and what we can do to rewrite the narrative. Consider the brash politician who sways the crowd with promises they never keep, or the corporate titan whose charisma masks a trail of broken trust. These are not anomalies, they are patterns, echoes of a deeper human struggle. And yet, within this struggle lies hope, a chance to confront the harsh realities of our nature and emerge wiser. This video is not just an intellectual exercise, it's a path to empowerment. The practical skill you'll gain is discernment, the ability to peer beneath the masks that leaders wear, to distinguish true wisdom from mere bravado. By making the unconscious conscious, you'll not only understand why the wrong people lead, but also discover the leader within yourself, waiting to emerge. So, let us begin this exploration together. For in understanding why the wrong people lead, we take the first step toward a future where the right ones do. What makes a leader? Is it charisma, vision, or perhaps something deeper? Something hidden within the labyrinth of the human psyche? Carl Jung, one of the most profound thinkers of the 20th century, would argue that leadership is not merely a skill, but a manifestation of unconscious forces. His theory of archetypes, universal patterns of behavior embedded in the collective unconscious, offers a powerful lens to understand why certain individuals rise to power, often regardless of their suitability. Jung taught us that beneath the surface of every human lies a tapestry of archetypes: the hero, the shadow, the anima/animus, and the ruler, to name a few. These archetypes are not just abstract concepts. They are living forces that shape our actions, desires, and fears. In the context of leadership, two archetypes stand out: the ruler and the persona. The ruler archetype embodies the desire for control, order, and authority. It is the part of us that seeks to impose structure on chaos, to lead others toward a vision of stability. But as Jung warned, where love rules, there is no will to power, and where power predominates, love is lacking. The ruler, when unchecked, can become tyrannical, driven by a hunger for dominance rather than service. Then there is the persona, the mask we wear to navigate the social world. For leaders, the persona is often polished to perfection, confident, decisive, unflappable. Yet, beneath this mask lies the shadow, the repressed, unacknowledged parts of ourselves. A leader who ignores their shadow may project their flaws onto others, leading with fear rather than wisdom. Consider the charismatic CEO who dazzles with grand visions but crumbles under pressure, or the politician whose rhetoric inspires millions, but whose actions betray a lack of integrity. These are not mere character flaws, they are archetypal imbalances. The ruler archetype, intoxicated by power, overshadows the self, the true center of the psyche. The persona, inflated beyond reality, becomes a fragile shield against the shadow's whispers. But why do we, as a society, elevate such figures? Jung's concept of the collective unconscious suggests that we are drawn to leaders who embody the archetypes we unconsciously crave. In times of uncertainty, the ruler's promise of order can be seductive, even if it comes at the cost of freedom. The persona's charm can blind us to the absence of substance. As Jung observed, the pendulum of the mind oscillates between sense and nonsense, not between right and wrong. Yet, Jung's psychology is not a counsel of despair, it is a call to awareness. True leadership, in his view, requires individuation, the process of integrating the unconscious with the conscious mind. A leader who embarks on this journey confronts their shadow, tempers their ruler with humility, and aligns their persona with authenticity. They lead not from a place of ego, but from the self, the archetype of wholeness. This is the leader we rarely see but desperately need. One who understands that power is not a prize but a responsibility, that vulnerability is not weakness but strength. As Jung famously said, the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. For leaders, this means embracing the full spectrum of their psyche, not just the parts that shine in the spotlight. So, what can we learn from Jung's insights? First, recognize the archetypes at play within yourself and those who seek to lead you. Are they driven by the ruler's need for control or the self's call for balance? Do they wear a persona of invincibility, or do they acknowledge their human frailty? Second, cultivate discernment. Look beyond the surface, question the narratives, and seek leaders who have done the inner work. In a world that often mistakes volume for vision and confidence for competence, Jung's psychology is a beacon. It reminds us that leadership is not just about what we see. It's about the unseen forces that shape our choices. By understanding these forces, we can begin to choose leaders not for their masks, but for their mastery of the self. Why do we crown leaders who dazzle us with promises, yet leave us in shadows of regret? Why do the wrong people, those driven by ego, greed, or fear, rise to power while the humble and wise linger unnoticed? This paradox isn't random. It's rooted in the human psyche, a terrain Carl Jung mapped with brilliance. To unravel it, we must peer into the unconscious forces that shape our choices. For leadership is less about who leads and more about who we choose to follow. Jung's shadow, the hidden, denied parts of ourselves, holds a clue. It harbors our fears, insecurities, and unspoken desires. When we ignore it, we project it onto others, including leaders. Everyone carries a shadow, Jung wrote, and the less it is embodied in the individual's conscious life, the blacker and denser it is. The wrong leaders often embody this unexamined shadow, resonating with our own suppressed flaws. They rise not despite their darkness, but because of it, reflecting a part of us we dare not face. History bears this out. Adolf Hitler, for instance, ascended by tapping into Germany's post-war shadow of shame and anger. His voice became a megaphone for a nation's unspoken pain, promising strength through blame. His leadership wasn't just political. It was a psychological pact with a collective shadow, proving how easily we surrender to those who mirror our wounds. But the shadow isn't alone. Jung's collective unconscious, a shared pool of archetypes, also pulls the strings. Leaders who channel the savior, the ruler, or the warrior can stir us deeply, even if their motives are hollow. These archetypes speak to instincts older than reason, making us followers before we think. The wrong leaders wield this power, crafting narratives that captivate, regardless of their truth. Today, we see it in polished facades. Picture a corporate mogul, all charisma and TED Talks, whose persona, Jung's mask of public identity, hides a ledger of deceit. We cheer their rise, entranced by the image, only to mourn the fallout, jobs lost, trust shattered. The persona's allure blinds us, proving we're suckers for a good story, even when it's a lie. The cost is steep, society split, hopes crushed, a bitter taste of betrayal. Yet, here's the twist, within this mess lies hope. Jung's individuation, the merging of conscious and unconscious, lights the way. Leaders who face their shadows don't exploit ours. Followers who've done the same don't fall for the act. It's a call to wake up, to choose better. So reflect, do you chase leaders who echo your fears or your dreams? The wrong people lead because we let them, because we see ourselves in their flaws. But in seeing this, we can change it. True leadership begins not with them, but with us. What makes a leader truly great? Is it their ability to command a room, or perhaps something deeper? An inner strength that shines through adversity? Carl Jung, the visionary psychologist, believed leadership emerges from the interplay of our conscious masks and hidden shadows. Through his concepts like the persona, shadow, and self, we can decode the essence of those who lead. Let's dive into two compelling stories. One of a flawed titan whose brilliance masked chaos, and another of a humble soul whose quiet resolve changed the world. Picture a man who reshaped technology, Steve Jobs, the mastermind behind Apple. His presence was electric, his vision unmatched. Jobs embodied Jung's ruler archetype, wielding authority with an almost mythical aura. He wore a persona of genius, captivating millions with sleek designs and bold ideas. But what lurked beneath? A shadow of impatience, harshness, and denial. A temper that alienated colleagues, a personal life marked by rejection of his own child. Jung once said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." Jobs' unchecked shadow fueled his rise, but also sowed discord. His legacy dazzles, yet it whispers a warning. Brilliance alone isn't enough. Have you ever admired someone, only to see their flaws unravel everything? Now, imagine a young girl in a war-torn land, Malala Yousafzai. At just 15, she faced a bullet for daring to demand education for girls. Unlike Jobs, her power didn't roar, it glowed. Malala reflects Jung's self-archetype, a harmony of strength and vulnerability. Her persona is simple, a student, a daughter, yet her actions ripple globally. She confronted her shadow not by denying it, but by embracing it, turning fear into courage, pain into purpose. Jung wrote, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." Malala's journey of individuation, her refusal to let trauma define her, offers a blueprint for leadership rooted in authenticity. Doesn't her story make you wonder what you'd stand for, even against impossible odds? These tales unveil a profound truth. Wrong leaders like Jobs often soar by perfecting their persona, projecting invincibility while their shadow festers. Right leaders like Malala rise through the self, integrating their struggles into a force for good. Jobs built empires but left wounds. Malala built hope and healed divides. Jung's lens shows us that true leadership isn't about volume or control. It's about facing the chaos within to create order without. So ask yourself, what shadows do you hide? What self do you seek? The leaders we admire, and the ones we become, depend on the answers. Have you ever felt the sting of betrayal when a leader you trusted faltered? Or the quiet rage of watching someone unworthy ascend to power? These emotions, disillusionment, frustration, even despair, are not mere reactions. They are the echoes of a deeper psychological wound. Carl Jung's exploration of the human psyche reveals why the wrong leaders often rise, and more importantly, why their ascent cuts so deeply. This isn't just about politics or boardrooms, it's about the soul of humanity and the emotional toll when leadership fails us. Jung's concept of the shadow, the hidden, often darker parts of ourselves, holds the key. When leaders deny their shadow, they don't just deceive themselves, they project their unresolved fears, insecurities, and flaws onto those they lead. The shadow, Jung wrote, is a moral problem that challenges the whole ego personality. A leader disconnected from their shadow becomes a mirror of chaos, reflecting not wisdom, but their own inner turmoil. The result? Followers feel manipulated, unseen, and emotionally adrift. Trust erodes, hope dims, and the collective spirit fractures. This emotional toll isn't just personal, it's societal. When the wrong leaders rise, they amplify our collective shadow, stirring fear, division, and cynicism. We feel it in the air, a heaviness, a sense that something vital is slipping away. Why do we let this happen? The harsh truth is that we're often complicit, drawn to leaders who mirror our own unexamined flaws. It's human nature, messy and imperfect, but recognizing it is the first step toward change. Yet, within this struggle lies hope. Jung's path of individuation, integrating the shadow with the conscious self, offers redemption. Leaders who face their darkness don't inflict it on others. Followers who do the same don't fall prey to false idols. Here's the skill to learn: emotional discernment. Ask yourself, does this leader inspire growth or exploit fear? Do they lead from wholeness or woundedness? By peering beyond the persona, we protect our hearts and choose wisely. The emotional impact of misguided leadership is undeniable, but it need not define us. In recognizing the shadow, both in leaders and ourselves, we reclaim our power. We learn to lead, not from a place of projection, but from authenticity. And in that, we find not just better leaders, but a better world. What if the secret to unlocking your potential and reshaping the world lies not in what you do, but in who you become? Carl Jung, the visionary psychologist, argued that true transformation begins when we dare to explore the unseen corners of our psyche. The skill you must master is self-awareness, a profound ability to peel back the layers of your identity and confront what lies beneath. This isn't a passive exercise, it's a bold step toward authentic leadership and a remedy to the chaos of misguided rulers. At the heart of self-awareness are two Jungian archetypes, the persona and the shadow. The persona is your public mask, polished, poised, and socially acceptable. It's the leader you project to the world. But lurking beneath is the shadow, a collection of suppressed fears, flaws, and untamed desires. Jung wrote, "The most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely." Yet, this acceptance is essential. Leaders who deny their shadow wield power blindly, leaving destruction in their wake. Self-awareness bridges this gap, illuminating the unseen so you can lead with clarity and purpose. Take Michael, a corporate manager admired for his decisive leadership. His persona shone brightly, confident and commanding, but his shadow fueled a hidden arrogance and impatience. His team suffered silently until a crisis forced him to reflect. Through journaling and candid feedback, Michael faced his flaws, a fear of vulnerability driving his need for control. By integrating his shadow, he softened his approach, fostering trust and collaboration. His transformation proves that self-awareness isn't just personal, it's revolutionary. Could your own shadow hold the key to your growth? How to build self-awareness. Here are practical steps to start today. Unmask your persona and shadow. Each evening, write 2 paragraphs, one about how you appeared to others, persona, and one about a moment you felt uneasy or reactive, shadow. What stirred that reaction? Reflect on archetypes. Sit quietly for 10 minutes and imagine the leader, the sage, or the rebel within you. Which archetype guides your actions? Which feels ignored? Invite honest feedback. Ask someone you trust. When do I seem genuine? When do I seem distant? Listen without defending. Let their words reveal your blind spots. Confront a fear. Name one fear, perhaps inadequacy or rejection, and take a small action to face it. Admitting it is the first victory. This journey demands courage. It's a descent into discomfort, a wrestle with truths you've avoided. But as Jung reminds us, embracing the whole self is the path to wisdom. By cultivating self-awareness, you don't just become a better leader. You become a force for good, capable of spotting and supporting the right leaders. The world craves leaders who see clearly, starting with themselves. Begin now. Grab a pen, pause in silence, ask, "Who am I really?" Your answer will ripple outward, shaping not just your destiny, but the future of those you lead. This video has revealed that self-awareness is the bedrock of effective leadership. We began by recognizing its foundational role. Leaders who understand their strengths and weaknesses wield their authority with authenticity and grace. A leader blind to their own limits risks stumbling into hubris, while one who embraces their full humanity builds trust and resilience. Self-awareness is not a luxury, it's a necessity. We then explored how this inner clarity sharpens decision-making. By confronting biases and illuminating blind spots, leaders can navigate complexity with wisdom rather than impulse. Every choice becomes a reflection of deliberate thought, not unchecked emotion. This is the mark of a mind attuned to its own workings, a leader who governs not just others, but themselves. Finally, we saw how self-awareness deepens connections. Leaders who grasp their own emotions and behaviors foster empathy, bridging divides and forging bonds that endure. In a world often fractured by misunderstanding, this ability to relate is a quiet revolution, a testament to the power of looking inward to reach outward. These insights are threads in a larger tapestry. Self-awareness doesn't merely enhance leadership, it redefines it. It shifts the focus from power to purpose, from control to collaboration. It asks us to consider, what kind of leader do I want to be? What legacy will I leave? These are not abstract musings. They are the questions that shape our actions and our world. As the great philosopher Socrates once said, "To know thyself is the beginning of wisdom." This ancient wisdom echoes through the ages, reminding us that leadership is not a title conferred, but a journey undertaken. It begins with the willingness to face ourselves, our fears, our flaws, our potential, and to grow from what we find. Now the torch passes to you. Self-awareness is not a destination, but a practice. Start today. Pause to reflect on your reactions, seek the mirror of honest feedback, or simply ask, why do I feel this way? These small steps are the seeds of profound change. Embrace them, and you'll not only lead better, you'll live better. Imagine the ripple effect of your growth. A team inspired by your authenticity. A community strengthened by your clarity. A world uplifted by your example. This is the promise of self-aware leadership, not perfection but progress, not dominance but impact. Leadership is a gift, but it's one that demands we first give to ourselves, the gift of understanding. So stand tall in your imperfections, seek the truth of who you are, and lead from that place of strength. The path ahead is yours to shape. Will you take it? The answer lies within you, waiting to be discovered. Let it shine.